Well, greetings vinyl community, and welcome to VC Friday, where today I will be talking about ghosts. Or more accurately, I will be talking about ghosts, because About Ghosts is the brand new album from the wonderful guitarist and composer Mary Halvorson. This just came out on the Nonesuch label, as you can see on this cutely designed label. This is wonderful artwork. I love it. By D.M. Stiff is the artist who's done the last few albums for Mary Halvorson. The album features Mary Halvorson's Amaryllis Sextet, which consists of two brass players, Adam O'Farrell on trumpet and Jacob Garchik on trombone, Mary herself on guitar and pocket piano, which is a little synth keyboard, Patricia Brennan on vibes, Nick Dunstan on bass, and Tomas Fujiwara on drums, augmented by two saxophone players on half of the tracks, Emmanuel Wilkins on alto and Brian Settles on tenor. They actually play together on tracks 1, 2, and 5, and then we have alto only added to track 4 and tenor only added to track 8. There are 8 tracks on the album. And this is a wonderful ensemble. It's not by any means a guitar showcase. That's not the kind of guitarist Mary Halvorson is. Her playing is very thoughtful, often very sparse, even when she's soloing. She does tend to use this interesting pitch shift device, which creates a kind of disorienting wobble to her sound. The music is a really extraordinary and satisfying balance between free playing and composed arrangements. So it's very tight, but people are playing with a lot of improvisational energy within the composed structure. A good example of that is the opening track, Full of Neon. And then an example of that wobbly guitar sound on the second track, Carved From. Elsewhere we have the likes of the careful meditation on guitar harmonics that opens the elegiac track Eventidal. Some more amazing wibbly-wobbly pitch shifting in the title track, and just some great ensemble playing throughout. As it happens, this was recorded on June 20th and 21st, 2024 in New York City, so it is the exact 1-year anniversary of the recording sessions today. Today also happens to be the 97th anniversary of the birth of Eric Dolphy, so let's all go out to lunch in Eric's honor. As with the Skullcap album that I showed last week, I got to preview this album on an online listening party immediately before it was released. So that's a really great promotional tool for folks. I would have bought the album anyway, but it was really cool and sort of gets your excitement level up to hear the music in the company of people who are all commenting on the tracks as they go by, as a sort of sneak preview of what you can soon hold in your own sweaty hands. I also noticed that the album was pressed in Czech Republic, which means GZ Media, and I just happened to have recently seen some stuff on social media where people are acting like that's a deal breaker. And I just want to point out that the pressing on this is absolutely fine. It's a great sounding record. So absolutely no problems with the Czech pressing. Next up, I have a few albums that I've had for a few weeks, but I haven't fit them into my previous videos, and they're finally showing up this week because I don't have much else to talk about. Some albums that I ordered when I was turned on to a vinyl sale that Barnes & Noble was having. So I was able to get 3 cool albums, all reissues on colored vinyl, 2 of them double LPs for a total of $50. So pretty good deal, 5 LPs in total for $50. And the first of them is from 1968, the debut album by Joni Mitchell, Song to a Seagull. And you can see that they've repaired the cover on this edition. All the old LPs had the title cut off, where the title Song to a Seagull is spelled out in birds. They just cropped down the side, so it was Song to a Seagull. And the album artwork is by Joni herself. She's put her name there in the psychedelic swirlage. And on the back, it continues on, and we see a cactus plant there that sort of echoes the last track on the album, Cactus Tree. Cactus Tree is one of those songs where there is an obvious lyrical hook that you expect to be the title of the song, but it's not. You expect that song to be called Busy Being Free, but no, it's Cactus Tree. This is an almost entirely solo album. It's Joni and her guitar, basically. Stephen Stills plays bass, on one track, which is the single Night in the City. That's the biggest production on the album, because we've got Joni playing both guitar and piano, Stephen Stills on bass, and Joni is also overdubbing a backup vocals. So she's got sort of a call and response thing going with her own voice. She does that on a couple of other tracks on the album. She does it on Cactus Tree, for example. And, since it's just a voice and guitar, Joni gets lumped in as a folkie. And I think this is really not appropriately called folk, because she goes so far beyond the basic folk chords and the staying within a single scale that characterizes true folk music. I would really say that even this early, in 1968, Joni was doing art song. This is a 1968 slightly-ish psychedelic in parts in her approach to songwriting. Obviously not in sounds. There's no weird warped guitar or anything happening here, although David Crosby did the production, and he did try to get a kind of oddball vocal sound by having Joni sing into an open piano, and apparently that didn't work out too well. We've got the gatefold cover with lyrics. Oh, and the only other musician who appears is Lee Kiefer, who is credited with Banshee, which is actually harmonica. He plays harmonica on Nathan Lafreniere, and it is a very keening, very simple harmonica sound that I guess Joni decided that was a ghostly sound, so it's credited as Banshee. And this is on yellow vinyl with a nice reproduction of the old two-tone Reprise label.
He's cleaned with the tears of an actor who fears for the laughter sting. I can't go back there anymore. My keys won't fit the door. My thoughts don't fit the man. They
This also features the song Michael from Mountains. How can you go wrong with a Michael song? So flash forward to 1980, and Joni has gone electric. She's strumming an electric guitar, and she's hooked up with some great players like Pat Metheny and Jaco Pastorius, Don Elias on drums, Lyle Mays on the keyboards, Michael Brecker on the saxophone, and she's made this double live LP, Shadows and Light. The song selection is mostly from her mid-70s and forward jazz-inflected albums from Hissing of Summer Lawns, Hegira, Don Juan's Reckless Daughter, and Mingus. There is one track from Court and Spark, and is it Court and Spark or is it? Yeah, Court and Spark is Free Man in Paris is done on here. The only real old one she goes back to is the closing Woodstock, and she also does a cover of Why Do Fools Fall in Love. It's kind of her falling in love with old rock and roll again. She is also joined by the Persuasions on vocals, who show up on that track, and then join Joni in the title track, Shadows and Light. The original version on The Hissing of Summer Lawns featured a whole overdubbed choir of Jonies. And on here, where she's joined by the Persuasions, it gives the song a more organic and gospel feel, which, it was a hymnal kind of song to begin with, but it really takes the stark feeling of the original and gives it a more soulful kick. Amazing playing. This is a kick-ass band, as you might imagine from the personnel. We have some little film clips in here and reproductions of the original printed inner sleeves. Disc 1 is red, and it's on the reproduction of the Asylum label. Disc 2 is non-red. Disc 2 is clear, sort of cloudy, milky clear. As on Song to a Seagull, the mastering on this reissue is by Bernie Grundman, who was also the mastering engineer on the original 1980 release, so they didn't even have to change the credit on the back cover. Finally, one of my favorite live releases by the Grateful Dead, Reckoning. This is from, recorded in 1980, but released in 1981. I think the Joni was recorded in 79 and released in 80. There's that one-year drag. I think that's a theme in all these albums. And this showcases the Grateful Dead's acoustic side. So that's what I really appreciate about this album, because I really like that aspect of the Dead's music. It doesn't forsake the psychedelic side, because we've got some songs such as Bird Song and China Doll that are definitely sort of spacey in their conception, even though there's no kind of psychedelic guitar noodling happening. I just really appreciate the feel of this album, the almost chamber music effect on those more psychedelic-ish songs, and otherwise, this is just right out straight folk. Just like what I said Joni Mitchell wasn't. They're doing songs like Deep Ellum Blues, Rosalie McFall, Been All Round the World, so perfect folk songs from the tradition. The Delightful Monkey and the Engineer, very fun song, very funny. This is a reissue on both discs being the same this time. Try fighting the static electricity to get it out. On blue vinyl with a GD logo there replacing the Arista logo. And some historical imagery of the band, like then and not quite so then. The album also includes the classic moment during the closing ripple when a dog wanders on stage and is introduced by Bob Weir. Mastering is by Chris Bellman, and the original packaging is reproduced. This is kind of a odd packaging, I think. It's a non-gatefold double LP, but there was a companion album. These two albums were released together, not at the same time, but sort of back to back. This one being the acoustic parts of the Dead's music, and that was followed by the companion double LP Dead set, which was the electric Grateful Dead. And that one was packaged in a regular gatefold cover. So I don't know why they did that. It's kind of an odd mismatch for two albums that are very much conceived as a pair. And this was recorded at the Warfield Theater in San Francisco and at Radio City Music Hall, of course, in New York City.
Is something like a bird within her sing. All I know, she's singing it on while then through all. Tell me all that you know, I'll show you stolen rain.
Since this is probably going to be a shorter video, I'm going to fill a little time by doing a brief improvisation. Take that, YouTube copyright bots. So thank you very much for watching. Be well. I will talk with you again soon, and bye-bye for now.
Let there be some